Number 1, it's fully remote. Number 2, you're licensed in about 2 weeks. Number 3, you are fully trained in under 90 days to sell for about 50 different providers. Number 4, PTO, salary, benefits, it all starts day 1, and the opportunities and the benefits are some of the greatest I've ever heard of. And number 5, you get to work for an employer who has been hiring military spouses for years. I'm 𝗟𝗶𝘀𝘀, your MilSpouse bestie. Tune into this episode to learn more about your career opportunities with Travelers Insurance and 𝗟𝗶𝘀𝘀𝘀. Virtual employment is here to stay. I'm military spouse, VirtForce founder, and your remote work expert, 𝗟𝗟𝘀𝘀𝘀. Subscribe now to learn how you too can thrive in the virtual workforce.
So I'm sure once you watch this, you'll see why all 500 live attendees were teary-eyed.
The general difficulties that military families face across the board is just consistency. Not knowing when or where we're going to go, having to make new relationships, find new support systems, having a job.
Before I met my husband, I was a commercial insurance agent in Colorado Springs, and I loved it. And once we got married and he decided to re-enlist in the Army and we got uprooted to Kentucky, I had to quit that job.
When an employer knows that you are a part of a military family, they know that you're not going to be staying there long. So they're hesitant to hire you. And so the good jobs, or the ones that develop into a career, you don't have those opportunities.
I found the position at Travelers through a Facebook group for local spouses at 𝗟𝗶𝘀𝘀𝘀. Someone had posted, I'm working for a great company, they've got a position available, and they're wonderful, and they're military friendly. And when I did my research to the company, I was blown away by what I found.
I was super excited. This is my opportunity to finally start building a career, something that I can take with me wherever I go.
The fact that we're able to provide career opportunities absolutely will tell you it gives us a competitive advantage. It provides an amazing employee population. If you think about the life of a military spouse, you move every couple of years, you have to make new friends, you have to be comfortable, you have to be outgoing, but you also need to be a problem solver.
We were stationed in Arizona. My husband was up for promotion and got orders to Fort Knox, so we thought it was best for me and the girls to come home to Houston so our daughter can finish high school. And it's been like that for the last year and a half. Everything's on me. I gotta make sure they get to school, make sure they're fed, make sure they're taken care of, so I can multitask. I'm great at multitasking.
So they're incredibly good decision makers, and they have a lot of empathy. And when we look at how we're interacting with our customers and our agents and brokers, they just bring a really unique skill set to the job.
My husband, Major 𝗟𝗟𝗍𝗀𝗍, had actually put in his paperwork for retirement, but the military asked him to backfill. And so he went back on active duty, deployed to Iraq. One day, there was a huge explosion. 2 people had been hit. He had gone out, and he had a heart attack. And yeah, he didn't make it. Your life is never the same. I had 2 beautiful girls that I had to support, and I had to put my game face on, and I had a job at Travelers that I needed to continue. It's then that I realized I had an extended family at Travelers under the umbrella that in my darkest time, they were there to help me. And it became a mission to give back and find purpose again in my life and help other spouses, support them, educate them, and help them develop their careers, and at the same time feel like they're within a family of their own.
This last 2.5 years, my husband, Michael, has had to leave about 1 to 2 weeks every month just because of his job. It's been a privilege to be able to connect with people throughout Travelers that are military spouses And so being able to have that support system, it's been the best.
My husband, Daniel, is in the U.S. Army active duty in South Korea. He works in cyber intelligence, and it has been about 18 months since I've last seen him. So that has been challenging to lean on other people and family members that are also not located nearby. I've networked with the Military Spouse Connection team. I've networked with people in different departments at Travelers, so that allows me to build those relationships and grow that career for a long term.
There's a camaraderie amongst one another. We need each other for support. We need each other for guidance and advice.
They talk about the culture, and that culture is real. You see the culture in Travelers, and I've seen that in my opportunity here.
Travelers has helped me find my own identity. I know that now that I have this position at Travelers, I know that my contributions are important and that the work I do is appreciated and impactful.
It means the world that they understand that for the most part, I am a single parent, and that they're willing to help us still be able to manage our household. It's a blessing to know that you're working for a company that's willing to do that for you.
Having a career and people and coworkers and managers and people throughout Travelers, they understand what you're going through. And just being a part of the military spouse program, it's been pretty amazing just because I found a family away from my family when sometimes it's hard to keep my family together.
It means so much to have a company that cares enough about this community to create a home for us in a world where otherwise we're kind of just left out on our own and forgotten.
Hello, everybody. I'm 𝗟𝗶𝘀𝘀. On social media and on YouTube, you will find me as the MilSpouse Bestie, founder of VirtForce, and I'm really, really pumped for you to be here today. If you are a military spouse or you're married to a service member, drop in the comments for me right now how many PCSs you've been through. And if something that's more relevant to you right now is how many days your service member has been away, you can drop that in too. Thank you so much. Seeing those numbers come through, 9 months, 9 PCSs, 5 PCSs, 7. Wouldn't it be incredible to have an employer where you could remain employed, have career continuity and career progression through those PCSs? And I hope that you enjoyed the MilSpouse success story. So I'll have someone from the Travelers team explain where that video was played, where that footage came from. The military spouses got to go to a very special convention. But think you could be one of the next military spouse success stories. Starting in October, Travelers is expanding its dynamic sales team, and they are still hiring remote team members, and they are still focusing on MilSpouses. Today, we're going to explain where that sales team is located under their organization and introduce you to unmatched. They aim to fill multiple positions right now and continue to do so through 2025. So this is an opportunity for you to join. I want to bring on our first guest today, Jen White. So we are kicking this off with a bang. She's the VP of Talent Acquisition at Travelers. Jennifer, let's get going. Can you give us the rundown on who Travelers is and how you're creating meaningful opportunities for this military community?
I would love to. Thank you and appreciate everybody joining us today. I'm Jen White. I lead the experienced recruiting teams here at Travelers. I'm just sneaking up on 21 years with the company, which is absolutely surreal. But I can attest that Travelers has a really strong commitment to the military. I'm a military spouse myself. And while I haven't PCS'd as often as others on this call, I do understand the challenges that it creates: life, home, and work, and all that goes with that. So very, very familiar. In case this is your first time interacting with Travelers, I just share that we're a property casualty insurer that's been in business for over 165 years. We have over 31,000 employees. We insure individuals, small businesses, large businesses, municipalities, and the list goes on. And some of the products that we have to offer here are auto insurance, homeowners insurance, renters insurance. We even sell wedding insurance.
That's new, I think.
Yeah, it's a very interesting product. So think about like when your photographer doesn't show up, you're insured. You got that covered. So it's a pretty interesting product. So I'll share that the 𝗟𝗟spouse group here is a real driving force. And we've seen so many interactions across different departments across the country. And we really wanted to keep that momentum going here. So we ended up creating very recently, maybe the last year or two, a 𝗟𝗟spouse connections team group chat to kind of keep that dialogue going, help bridge new relationships. I added myself to it because I heard about all this energy that was coming from the connections in the group, and it really is just a thriving community here. And then just last, I'll share, the support that our 𝗟spouses receive during time of transitions. We know it's going to be difficult during some times of PCS. We know that there's going to be deployments that take place, and as an organization, we do get that. There is a really strong support system that we've built to help those transitions move smoothly so that you feel like you're still succeeding at work. You're going to hear from someone today that is a 𝗟spouse, that is a true testament of knowing how to juggle all of that, but you'll have to wait just a little bit longer to hear from her. So
thanks, Jen. And so if I understand correctly, you guys have hired so many active duty spouses at Travelers. You have an entire chat through, is it Slack or through Teams, where you're able to Teams.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So tell me in the chat if you would love to be able to work for a company where you log in and there's a whole Teams channel with tons of other spouses, potentially some even at your own duty station that you could meet up and have coffee with. Would you love that? You can give some big stars in the chat. I know I would. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about the benefits that we will see when you're working with Travelers. And before we dive into this conversation, let me say, we did a full YouTube video on if Travelers benefits were the GOAT, the greatest of all time. And I think there's something to say about working for a company that's over 160 years old, an insurance company. Come on. I mean, put two and two together, you're going to have some of the greatest benefits that are available on the job market. So if you really want to go deep into what benefits look like at Travelers, go watch our GOAT video. But the person who's going to talk to us about it now is Julie Galloway. Julie, you are known for the top-notch benefits. Tell us about it. What makes it so great?
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. Two things before I get started with my just points I want to share. So you were mentioning the stability of the company. And earlier, the theme has been that everybody here on this call is looking for stability, right, Kimber? So that you as military spouses don't have to start over as your spouse fulfills the commitment to our country. And not only does Travelers offer that, but stability is the reason why I'm here, even as a non-military spouse. So Jen says she's been here at Travelers for 21 plus years. I'm 8 years, and I still am probably considered a little bit of a newbie just because there's a lot of tenure here at Travelers. And so I'm the type of person that over my career, if you go out and find me on LinkedIn, I kind of pride myself in staying at one company as long as I can, but I love to work for legacy companies that have a great reputation and are known for that longevity. That's very valuable to me. Also, I just want to say, everyone on the call, first and foremost, I'm just impressed by your strength. When you guys threw in the number of PCSs that you guys have endured, just impressive is the only word to describe that. When you see numbers like 6, 7, 9 plus, PCSs, that is a huge commitment, not only to our country, but to your family as well. So thank you. Kimber had alluded that we, have a great benefits package. We have a strong compensation package. We're a pay for performance culture. So in addition to your base salary, some of our positions do come with additional earning potential, like incentive pay if you reach some sales goals and things like that. In addition, we also pride ourselves on offering just a comprehensive benefits package that anyone would need to support their family. I use all my benefits here at Travelers. I don't have anything outside of my company benefits, and it has served me and my family well. We realize that full benefits are probably part of your military offerings, right? But if you ever find yourself needing coverage in the future, please know that you could take advantage of what we have to offer. Or maybe there's some benefits that Travelers offer to supplement, what you currently have. Those benefits here begin on day one of employment. So there's no waiting period, right? And so that includes your medical, your dental, your vision, life insurance, disability insurance, just to name a few. But in addition to that, we have a wide array of other benefits. For example, 401k. So you guys are talking about longevity. Nothing speaks to longevity as saving for, your future and knowing that you can have money of your own in retirement. Like, how great is that, right? That you can be building your own retirement alongside of your military spouse is pretty impressive. Eligibility to participate in that is also immediate, and Travelers matches the first 5%, up to $7,500 annually. So again, something that I started doing as of day one. Another benefit that we offer is a pension. So at a time when most companies have discontinued pension plans, we're proud that Travelers still offers it and makes a contribution annually to each one of our employees' accounts, which is great. There's also a wide array of work-life balance benefits. It would take me forever to go into all of them, so I won't, but just to name a few, like various wellness programs, smoking cessation, weight loss, right? Or even just family building programs around fertility and adoption, etc. Another benefit that's kind of near and dear to my heart I want to call out is just around community. Travelers will match any donation to a charitable organization up to $500 annually. So for me, I'll be honest, I like to give to St. Jude's. I feel it's a meaningful institution. I give $500 personally. They match it. I was just able to donate $1,000 to St. Jude's, which feels great. So again, I could go on and on. You can find all the details on our career page. But Kimber, I hope that gives everybody a sneak peek as far as what makes our benefits so great here at Travelers.
It does. And I want to hit a couple of nails on the head one more time. For in the chat, tell us in the chat, what benefit is most important to you? And then I also want everyone to kind of think internally, hey, have you started thinking about your own retirement outside of your spouse's TSP or outside of your spouse's retirement plan from the military? If you haven't, think about it. This is your wake-up call. I'm your friend. I'm here to tell you, get on it. But yes, you heard her say fertility. Yes, you did hear that correctly. So I know that we've had some individuals ask about that outside of our meetings with Travelers. And I want to ask you a question, Julie. If I recall correctly, Travelers also has agreements with some of the national daycare franchises that offer discounts on childcare. Is that correct?
That is correct. So again, our work-life benefit programs, it's extensive, but yes, there are child care organizations that we partner with to offer discounts. Yes. Again, can't promise that it's everyone, but it's at least a lead. And even as part of our different wellness programs, a lot of times we have resources that if you are somewhere and you need help locating a reputable childcare facility, they will help you do that as well, right? So
absolutely. And we know that as working parents, those are things that we need to be thinking about as we're clocking in and going to work and thinking about, well, I need to know that my child is somewhere safe. I need to know that there's a program to help me figure that out. We talked more about that in our previous video that we recorded with Travelers a while back. So if you want to learn more about the benefits, which start on day one, holy moly, you don't have to put in 90 days of training. You don't have to get through any kind of hoops or fiery flaming loops. They care about you from the moment that you become a part of the team. You are treated as a part of the team from the moment that you start. So be aware of that. GOAT video, greatest of all time. I keep saying GOAT just for everyone who doesn't know what that is. It's greatest of all time. GOAT video will tell you more about working there. I think also a great way to learn more about working there would be to hear from Maria, because Maria actually works for Travelers and she kicked off her journey with Travelers in a hybrid role over a year ago. And she recently made the switch to a fully remote position, and she scored a really big promotion into management. Maria.
Thanks, Kimber. Well, first, thanks for having me. I'm so happy to see all these faces that have joined this call to learn more about Travelers, because it's really is a great company. So where do I start? Let's start with, so I've been a military spouse for about 6 years now. I currently live in Indianapolis, and my husband is stationed in Texas doing geobatching there. I discovered Travelers through VirtForce community, which led me to my first position, like Kimber mentioned, in a hybrid role. So the opportunity prompted me to move from Kansas. I was stationed in Fort Riley, and I moved to Indianapolis while my husband was deploying to Korea at the time. Since then, I've transitioned to a fully remote role as an associate operations account specialist on the business underwriting side, thanks to tremendous support from my previous manager, HR business partners, and fellow military advocates that are part of Travelers. And I've been with Travelers for a year and a half now. And the new team that I've joined actually welcomed 5 military spouses to their team as the first time on this agency solutions center team that we are. So I'm still receiving that support as a military spouse in this new team, which I absolutely love. And I started the process very early with my previous manager. I was, said, hey, I'm a military spouse. I'm going to have to start getting some things in order. My husband might be coming back soon, which of course then everything changes because that's just military life. So things got changed. I didn't really need to start looking that early, but I started to look for roles that were part of my interest, not only remote roles, also hybrid roles, because I wanted to see what was out there. I wanted to continue my career in something that I enjoyed. And being the first military spouse on that team for operations, my previous manager, this was all new to her. She didn't know how to handle a military spouse, but she was very open to the experience. She provided a lot of invaluable advice and support. She helped me prepare for the interviews that I had for my new role. She did mock interviews for me. She gave me tips and tricks on how to answer questions. And then ultimately I had 2 options to choose from while I was interviewing. So the support that I received from my leaders at Travelers really has been crucial for me in allowing me to continue this career that I have here now and that I will continue to. So I'm really thrilled to be a part of the Travelers family.
I mean, it's evident that they love you. It's evident that you are a part of the family. I mean, how much they helped you is incredible. What's your official job title right now?
So it's Associate Operations Account Specialist on the business underwriting side, small commercial.
Okay, and that was a pretty big leap from the original role?
So my first role was claim operations specialist in operations, so in the claim side. So yes, and now I no longer do anything with claims. So it was a pretty big jump. Now I don't feel like that role really prepared me for this new role, but it's nice to see kind of both aspects of the company in that sense. So
yeah, so you completely shifted like functional departments within the organization.
Mm-hmm.
How does that make you feel? Are you like excited about that? Are you looking forward to, okay, I want to do this again in the future. I want to try another department in the future?
So with this move, it opens me up to different lateral moves and different organizational moves too, right? So on the claim side, you have different roles that you can take on that side. On this side, I could go all the way up to being an underwriter if I wanted to, like Laura Lee is in that video. So I'm super excited. I'm still kind of in a training mode, even though it's been about 5 months now. So they really set you up for success. They don't let you do the role alone. They kind of weed you in slowly to make sure that you're understanding the role and meeting your productivity at a certain time. So I'm knocking it out of the park is what I last heard. So I'm super excited for that. And I'm about to be halfway there. So I'm really happy to be in this new role. It's been very interesting to learn about the underwriting side.
Good. Congratulations, Maria. I'm excited for you. In the chat, if you were excited about Maria's career progression, give us a big star. She deserves a big gold star. I'm excited.
Kimber, can I jump in and just offer a little bit of clarification for our audience? So we're throwing around a few terms here that might be a little hard to follow. So first of all, when you think of insurance in general, Jen talked about all the different things. We basically issue your policy. So think of your auto insurance, right? Your homeowner's insurance, and then we pay claims. So when Maria just talked about her career transition, so she started on the claim side of the house and then now has transitioned her career to what we call the underwriting side. So if you think of it, kind of boils down to 2 basic things, issuing the policies and then servicing our customers when they have a claim. And you're going to hear, more about issuing those policies in a minute. The other thing I just wanted to offer clarification on was work arrangement. Maria had mentioned the word hybrid. She mentioned the word remote. For us, hybrid means in office, but a little bit of flexibility to work from home a few days. So usually a hybrid work arrangement is working in the office 3 days a week and then work from home 2 days a week. And if someone is fully remote, then for us, that means they work from home, their home-based office 100%. So I just wanted to throw that in there. Thank you.
Yeah, and on that topic of the work arrangements, I do want to say if you have a service member who's transitioning out of the service, leaving the military and looking for a place to hang their hat, start their civilian career, reach out to us because we have seen travelers become an incredible fit for our service members, not specifically in the roles we're going to talk about today, but we'd love to point you in the direction of their career site and help you pinpoint some positions that might be a good fit for you based on your geographical location. Now that we've heard from Maria, I think that it's best if we go ahead and talk to Patrick and Seth. So let me give you a little bit of context on this really super exciting part of our conversation. So we want to bring on the Travelers AVP of Client Delivery, Patrick, and Seth, the AVP of Operations at 𝗟𝗶𝘀𝘀. And let me set the stage by asking Patrick, what opportunities are coming up for our military spouse candidate?
Well, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. And actually, before I answer that, I just want to thank everybody on this call for spending time with us. Thank you for supporting the country, supporting your families, and really just appreciate everything you do. I've been with Travelers. I think I might be the baby on this call because I've only been here for 5 years, which is just says a lot about the organization, but very much appreciate this call. And I'm not going to say too much because I want to turn the mic over to Seth Miller. We invited him because we do have a big push to hire remote employees, military spouses, for an organization that is part and under the Travelers umbrella called 𝗟𝗄𝘀 and the 𝗟𝗄𝘀 sales team. We have a lot of opportunity today. I expect continued opportunity through the rest of the year and into Q1 of next year. We're really growing that part of the organization. So was very excited to talk to you all about it. One thing I'll say, and I don't want to steal all of Seth's thunder because I know he's going to talk a little bit about it, but I hope one of the things you get from this is working in this role, it's fairly unique in the sense that we're not only hiring individuals to sell Travelers products, we are going to get you licensed across all 50 states to sell insurance products for 50 different carriers, including Travelers. So this is a little bit different. It's a little bit unique, and you'll have an opportunity to really grow your career with Seth and his team at 𝗟𝗀𝘀. So without further ado, you've heard enough from me. I'll turn it over to Seth. He's really the guy you want to hear from here.
Hey guys, thank you so much, Patrick. I appreciate it. And I'll start out, just want to make sure my microphone is in the right spot. You guys can hear me, right? Good. Yeah, I'll start out just by saying thank you as well. I appreciate everyone jumping on. This is a really big group. And I'll just start out by saying, when we talk about careers, right? I have a bachelor's degree in a field where it doesn't really lead to a career, right? And so thankfully I found the insurance world, and whether it's a sales job or an underwriting job or something else within insurance, I would say just in general, the insurance world is a mile wide and a mile deep. And whether, if sales doesn't sound like the right fit for you, and sales isn't for everybody, highly encourage you to go on that Travelers website and look around for other opportunities as well. So that's what someone said to me when I entered the insurance industry. So I'll say it to you guys as well. So let me selfishly brag about my opportunity now. And so who's 𝗟𝗀𝘀 and what are we looking to hire for, right? So 𝗟𝗀𝘀 is a national independent agency. We were acquired by Travelers in 2021. And we were started by another insurance company, and we were required to be the national independent agency for Travelers in order to provide their customers with a choice shopping experience. So like Patrick said, we don't only write for Travelers, we write for over 50 carriers across the entire country. We specialize in personal lines insurance. So if you think about yourself, your family, your assets, what would you need to protect your family and your assets? Not health insurance, not life insurance, really like auto and home insurance. If you think about those kinds of products, that's really what we specialize in. Our agents are licensed across the entire country. They go through a fully paid licensing program. It takes about 2 weeks. And they go through a fully paid training program that takes about 4 months. We get you on the phones and we get you started using what we're training you on after a couple of weeks. So it's very much, you're a hands-on learner. I'm a hands-on learner, so that's how we've developed the program. When you talk about a career, I will say I didn't mention this before to the group, but I started in the job that I'm talking to you guys about, right? So I started in this job a dozen years ago. I'm now the AVP of operations of an agency that has 70 agents working for it, almost $100 million in premium under management. So we talk about being able to find your career. I found my career in insurance, and before this, I was a bartender. So, just to to say it can happen to you. And the nice thing about this, I'll talk about the continuity of the job as well, right? So we're hiring remote independent insurance agents. It's a telephone-based job, so all you need is high-speed internet and a quiet place to work. We take care of the rest in terms of equipment and whatnot. All the training and whatnot is, obviously you spoke about that. That's all taken care of. Generally speaking, right, the training takes about 3 to 4 months. You'll learn to write all the different products that we train you on, from all the different property and casualty products. Every manager on my floor started in the role that you guys were talking to you about as well, right? So lots of career opportunity and growth opportunity within the organization.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
How are military spouses currently fitting into your team at 𝗟𝗏𝘀? Because I want to make sure that our guests today, we invited them to learn how to become licensed within you in 90 days, right? And then become a representative of 𝗟𝗏𝘀. So you did describe, okay, 𝗟𝗏𝘀 is selling 50 different providers.
Yep.
And so that's a little bit different than just working directly for Travelers and Travelers products. But it's also still amazing for our MilSpouse community because you've got 2 MilSpouses on your team already. How are they showing up and showing out?
And when I pulled the team, I found out we actually have 3 MilSpouses on our team, but they're doing fantastic. So the 2 that I spoke to you guys about yesterday are doing amazing, right? One of them is leading my floor in sales this month, right? So she's kicking butt and taking names. And the other one, she's not leading the floor, but the reason she's not really leading the floor is because she just moved through a PCS. She just moved from California to Florida 2 weeks ago. And so we were able to support her through that move. All she had to do is bring her equipment with her, plug it in. When she got to her new location, she was able to pick up and start working right there. And so we're happy to support folks. 90% of my team today is remote across the country, including managers. So we're not married to a specific location. We do have an office in Florida, right outside Orlando, but we're happy to hire people wherever they live, and support them through these moves. From where I sit, the military spouses we have today have done such a good job setting the stage for you folks that I as many of you guys that I can get to apply, I'd love to talk to you because it is a great opportunity.
And we talk about that a lot because we see so many military spouses who are getting hired, and they're helping demonstrate and live out the narrative that we are taking to our employment partners and saying, yeah, this is a great source of team members if you're looking for someone who's going to bring zeal, problem-solving skills, agility, dependability. It's so inherent. But I want to give kudos to the MilSpouses who are already working at 𝗟𝗏𝘀 and already working at Travelers. Laura Lee Lambert was one of the first placements we made with you guys, and she made it into your video that we played earlier today. With all of that being said, y'all are doing yourself a favor. Y'all are showing up for your community. Y'all are doing so well and getting employed and making a great name by saying, hey, I am a MilSpouse and I represent a community that is severely, pandemic level underemployment within our community. Saying I'm a part of this, and I encourage you to look at more talent that's like me. So kudos to those individuals. We're super excited for them. I do want to call everybody who's on. We've got over 170 people present. We're about to make our way into Q&A. So if you've got questions for Seth on 𝗟𝗏𝘀, Julie on benefits, Jen on culture, if you've got these questions, go ahead and start prepping them. You can put them in the chat and our team will grab them, or you can be a part of one of our on-screen questions that are asked. We are going to prioritize people who want to come on screen and speak. So for your awareness, that is coming soon. So get ready for that. Julie, go ahead.
Thanks, Kimber. While they're formulating their questions, pardon me, maybe I could jump in and answer a few of the most commonly asked questions. I've seen a few in there about chat, and it talks about, is this the only job? Are there other jobs? I do want to offer a few points of clarification. So not every job that we have at Travelers is eligible for a remote work arrangement. We try really hard to bring you the opportunities that offer the remote work arrangement because we know that's what's needed for our MilSpouse community. So again, I don't want to overstate, that every job at Travelers is remote eligible, because that's not how we're set up. We have over 50 offices across the United States, and we have a very strong presence in those offices. Hence, Maria was talking about the word hybrid and so forth. So I just want to mention that. When you go to our career site, it has a complete list. We encourage you to use the link that VirtForce sends you, so that you can be identified as a VirtForce member, because that's important to us, right? As applications are coming in, we want to know that you're a member of the VirtForce community and that you are a military spouse. And then also, it's important because that link, we know, is a job that's military spouse friendly and offers that remote work arrangement. However, there are positions that you'll see on our career site, and if it says remote or it has multiple locations or location dependent, typically those location dependent would mean working in the closest Travelers office. So again, I don't want to misconstrue that as remote work. So again, just want you to be mindful of that. I know there's a lot of questions. The other thing I will say is, working in our positions, it does allow you to take the job with you when you PCS. So you guys have talked about having to start. Our friend at the beginning, who had a long career in education and had to give up being a teacher because it was just too challenging to start over and maintain her credentials as she moved on. So this job is portable. So let's say you come to Travelers and you begin working on SES team as an insurance sales advisor, and then you PCS. Well, your status with Travelers isn't going to change, right? That's what's portable, is your career with us here at Travelers. Our job is very structured in the sense that it's still full-time, 40 hours a week. Unfortunately, we don't offer part-time right now. I know a lot of people might have a preference to that if they have some obligations or would rather just work part-time. Unfortunately, we don't have that at the moment. So I just wanted to throw that out there. And the other thing I just want to highlight is transferable skills. And Kimber's kind of mentioned it, right? The entrepreneurial spirit, right, Kimber? As far as, we've got a lot of smart individuals on this call. And that's what we look for here at Travelers. Seth isn't going to be looking that you have been an insurance sales representative before. We know, we're not likely going to find a lot of those, but it's about, can you sell, and the communication skills, those interpersonal skills that you bring to the table that are transferable to make you a fit for the role at Travelers. So just wanted to point out those things to get us started.
Thank you, Julie. Seth, let's drive right back into a couple of other things I wanted to ask you regarding the background of what you're looking for in candidates. So if our candidates want to apply to work at 𝗟𝗏, do they need a sales background?
You don't. No, so no sales experience, no insurance experience is necessary. In fact, we like to train people that have no experience, because then we can train you on our way of doing things, right? And so some of our most successful people come in with no experience.
Okay. And so when the training is complete, are they going to be making cold calls? Are they calling out? What's happening there?
So primarily the job, your new business opportunities are generated through inbound calls, customers calling in that are already qualified, looking for the insurance products that we offer. We do, all of our agents have direct dial phone numbers. And so the reason for that is to have an emphasis on that personal relationship that you build with the customer. So if that customer is not ready to move forward on that initial phone call, they're able to get back directly to you. As opposed to having to call an 800 number and talk to a new person every time they call in.
Right.
So it is very much, it feels a little more like that mom and pop independent agency in your hometown versus digital.
So if I understand correctly, they're calling you, and then you're helping them compare rates and compare pricing to make the right insurance selection for them.
Correct.
For the caller. Right?
Correct. And the only thing we charge our agents with doing is find the right fit for that customer. We don't put our finger on the scale to say sell more Travelers than some other company just because Travelers owns us. Honestly, it really is a help your customer find the right fit in a very tough insurance market.
Yeah.
So the nice thing about that is I always tell my agents, you should feel really good when you put your head down at night that you're doing a good job that day, right? You're doing something that you should be proud of.
Yes.
Because you're helping people find insurance, that fits their budget and their needs.
And one thing that we've heard consistently from Julie, from Jen, and from the Travelers team is that our demographic, the individuals who apply to these positions, possess a very high aptitude for empathy and relationship building, and that's why we're so successful in these roles. So if you're on the fence about this, you're thinking, I don't know if I'm right for a sales position, I don't know if ensure-a-match could be for me or not. It's been proven over and over again that the individuals who we represent and we bring together are killing it, are absolutely killing it. So this is a very high probability that it's going to be a great fit. So just to recap Seth's opportunity at ensure-a-match, and this kind of helps play into what Julie was saying, while there are many roles at Travelers, a lot of them are on site, a lot of them are hybrid. This specific role at ensure-a-match is a remote role. With that being said, what you're going to be doing is building relationships and interacting with callers who are looking for the right insurance. And Travelers brings you on, pays for your training over the 90 days, and in just 3 months, you're fully licensed and you're able to open the door for clients to find the right insurance for themselves, but also open the door for career progression and continuity for you, right? So now that we understand that, it's time to shift into Coffee Connect. And just before we do that, I want to close that loop on what Julie was saying earlier. If you are not an active duty spouse and you're interested in working on site at a Travelers facility, we would love to help you find something that's in your geographical location. So if you're a transitioning service member or a veteran spouse, you may be a great fit for some of those hybrid or on-site roles. Number one, y'all email us a lot saying, my husband is leaving the service and I want to help him get a job at Travelers. Where do I start? So with that being said, we welcome that. We always help individuals and when you're in that situation. And number two, we have seen multiple active duty spouses who work hybrid or in a remote capacity with Travelers. Once their active duty status is complete and they move to veteran status, relocate to live near a Travelers institution to work on site. So if you are a part of a family who would be interested in something like that, we would love to help you talk about where Travelers is geographically hubbed and what kind of opportunities might align with you. Because I know that we don't always want to work remote forever. That's not necessarily your 20-year career game plan. All right, so with that, we are ready to get into Q&A. Let's go ahead, Diana.
Hi, Kimber. Thank you for hosting this today. I think just relating back to what you were talking about, with military spouses having a great sense of empathy and understanding just, with change and that we go through, and those skills transitioning over into professional roles. My question for Seth is, what additional skills do you find are most important to be successful in this particular role?
Yeah, it's a great question, right? And so you don't have to have any insurance or sales background in order to apply for the role or be successful, right? I think when we think about qualities that we look for in folks that are successful, it's a sales job, right? So hardworking individuals tend to do well. There's a bonus structure, there's a bonus plan that's built into it. So you want to hit the ground running each and every day you come into work and make the most of that day. Ethical, sales practices are paramount at Travelers and ensure-a-match, right? So we want folks that are selling ethically. We want folks that have the gift of gab. If you can't tell, I can talk until the cows come home. Many of my folks, right? I always say if we were looking at people's elementary school report cards, right, we'd want the goody two shoes and the chatty Cathys. That's really who does really well in our world, right? We want ethical people who can talk, that work really hard. Competitiveness is also really important, right? If you think about folks that have, I always say whether it's a board game or sports, right? If you hate to lose, sales may be a good fit for you. So it's another good skill set and a good quality to have.
Thanks, Seth. Diana, did you get your question answered completely, or do you have a follow-up?
No, that's great. I think you summed it up well. Thank you.
One thing I would add too is computer skills, right? You spend your entire day on a computer, right? So being able to navigate, websites and we work with 50 carriers and they all have their own website. So coming in with strong typing skills and strong computer skills is pretty much a requirement.
You're fine. We want you to get all the information out.
Sure.
Janet, we'll go ahead and let you go next.
Hi, thanks so much, Kimber. I am finding that with most applications for jobs, that just getting to the point where somebody is willing to give you an interview is a bit challenging. What is it specifically in the application process or in the resume is it that you're looking for in order to get to the interview part?
So I mean, one important thing for at the job that that we're talking about, right, is there's a pre-employment assessment, right? So I can tell you, it's half the people that apply to our job just don't take that assessment. The recruiter cannot reach out to you until you take that assessment and pass it. So that is the first thing, is to keep an eye on your email and look for communications from that recruiter, because if you miss that assessment, you'll never hear from them. So I think that's first and foremost what they look for. Maybe someone someone else from Travelers can speak more from the recruiting side. When folks screen resumes, what are they looking for?
I think you said the right word, Seth, just a resume. So making sure, Janet, whenever you submit that application, take time to prepare a concise resume ahead of time, preferably in a Word document or a PDF, so that it'll transition well and you can attach it in a readable form so the employer can see it. On there, creating, usually in reverse chronological order, a timeline of your work history. We realize that military spouses tend to have gaps of employment, and that's okay. Again, not accounting for those gaps, or if you want to account for it and put, PCS or something like that, that's fine. Again, we'll know by that indicator that as long as you use the link that VirtForce provides you, that you are a MIL spouse, and it's likely that you would have some employment gaps on your resume. But then also, Seth had talked about some of the technical skills needed to do this job. So if there's a section of your resume that speaks to your skills and abilities, highlight some of those things as far as, the multitasking, communication skills, whatever that might be. So hopefully that's a good start.
Thank you so much,
Julie.
You're welcome.
If I could just have a big, giant, blinking billboard on my forehead, it would say tailor your resume for this event. Maybe we can make that into an on-screen graphic for future events. So thank you so much. So we covered the assessment and tailoring the resume, and that absolutely answers that question very thoroughly. Elizabeth, what you got?
So I have two questions, actually. So my first question is, what does, I guess, salary kind of look like? Is it an hourly? Is it hourly? I'm assuming that if it's a sales position, there's going to be commissions that are kind of tied in with that. So those are that's my first question.
Sure. So there is a base salary. The base salary, generally speaking, is about 60 to 70% of your total compensation, intentionally, right? We want people making strong ethical decisions on the phones, and we don't want them doing everything they can just to make a sale, whether it's in their customer's best interest or not. So we have enough of a bonus plan, I think, to motivate people to sell and to work hard without holding their compensation hostage, right? So there is a bonus plan. The bonus plan, it's not commission. It's really based on the amount of business that you process in a given month, and then how much of that is bundled. Just to give you 2 cents for it, I can get into more details about compensation and the bonus plan in an interview. So if you're interested, go through that process. I'd be happy to get into more details with you, though.
Okay, that answers my question perfectly. And I kind of giggled when you said we need the people that are like rule followers and chatty Cathy like that. That is me. Second question is, what does the schedule look like? So my husband he is essentially the section chief of operations for our base. And so his job is very demanding. I mean, we've got early hours and very late evenings. So there's a lot of times where, even though he's here, I'm doing it all by myself, which means picking up kids, dinner, after school, extracurricular activities for them. What does the schedule kind of look like typically? And does that vary based off of where you're located? Like, I'm in Oklahoma, so I'm in the central time zone.
Right. So generally speaking, hours of operation, right? So 𝗟𝗶𝘀𝘀 is open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern time, and Saturdays from 9 to 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. So that's the total hours that we're open, right? So it's got to be within those guardrails. We have shifts that start from 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., and 11 a.m. Eastern time, right? So to cover that full gamut of hours during the week. To some degree, we can be flexible. It depends on the needs on the sales floor as to what that looks like. So again, I'd encourage you, come talk to me. We've been able to be flexible, specifically with MIL spouses who need to go pick up kids from school and then log back in to finish up their shift. It's not something we can always do, but it is something I've done in the past. So it really depends on the individual circumstances.
Okay, that's really good to know.
But
Can
I'm
you
happy
give...
to try and figure it out, right? For the
Right,
if you
right.
feel like you're a good fit, we'll try to figure it out.
Okay, can you give me those hours of operation again? I just want to write
Sure.
it down.
8 to 8 p.m. Eastern time, Monday through Friday. And then Saturdays 9 to 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. And the way our Saturdays work is everybody's on a Saturday rotation. So you work one Saturday, one out of every 4 Saturdays. It's a 4-week rotation. So you're on a Saturday team, and that team comes up for Saturday work once every 4 weeks.
Okay, because that was my follow-up question to that schedule. Like, how many weekends, how many Saturdays?
And then in that Saturday week, you get a day off in the week preceding it, right? So if this week was your Saturday week, you get, usually it's Tuesday through Thursday. If they can give you a Monday or Friday, they will. It depends on, how much PTO is already scheduled for those days. But you'll get an extra day off the week leading up to it. So you still have 2 days off that week. It'll be Sunday and one of the weekdays.
Okay, and then I did have a follow-up question, and it just went right out my brain. So when it comes back, I'll just put it in the chat.
Yeah, no worries.
Thank you.
That'll be good. We'll look for it, Elizabeth. I hate when that happens to me. Our experience with culture at Travelers over the last several years is the career progression component of promoting from within. So Erica, I think that you should definitely consider taking that path of getting hired in a role that you may be trained outside of the underwriting department and get to experience and contribute there, and waiting for an opportunity to come up as an underwriter in another position. Maria is not the first military spouse we've seen move from a sales role like what we're discussing today into underwriting. We've seen multiple, even have some #hired success stories of that on our YouTube. All right. Will having your P&C license help you stand out as a candidate? Is it worth getting that license before applying? And this is from Tiffany.
It's a hard question to answer, to be honest. It certainly doesn't hurt. What I will tell you is we pay for the training, we pay for the license if you get it through us. If you get it before you come in the door, you're paying for it. And so it can help with certain jobs. I can tell you with my role, we don't put any kind of a preference on people that are licensed versus people that are not licensed, because they all go through the exact same training program. So it doesn't hurt, but I would tell you don't go out and purchase the license and pay for the expensive licensing course on your own, thinking that gets you an automatic interview or an automatic job opportunity. I'd say get the job, let us pay for the licensing and the license.
Thank you, Seth. Alyssa wants to know, what are the steps involved in the training before you reach the 90-day point and get licensed?
Okay, so you get licensed after 2 weeks. So the way I'll just take you through kind of the first 3 months, right? So the way our training program works, if you're unlicensed, the first 2 weeks you go into a virtual training program, right? So it's a self-study program. The nice thing about it is over 95% of the people we've put through that program have gotten their license successfully. So it's a great program. It prepares you for your state exams, and it'll get you licensed. After you've gotten your license, the following 2 weeks, you go into the dedicated training, right? So that's 2 weeks classroom style training. Towards the end of that 2 weeks, you're prepared to write auto and renters insurance only, right? So 2 of our over 20 products that we offer, with a handful of the carriers, of the 50 carriers that we write with, we've trained you, and then we put you on the phone to start using what we've taught you just to write auto and renters insurance. And then over the course of the next 3 months, every other week or so, we're pulling you off the phones to train you on more products or more carriers, and to the point where we eventually get you fully trained on 50 carriers, 50 states, 20 plus products, which happens between the 3 and 4 month mark. Does that answer the question?
Yes, I believe it does. And I can understand why you're looking for the rule following 𝗟𝗶𝘀𝘀𝘀𝗀 to hang in there through that program. I'm sure there's a pretty rigorous syllabus to get through. As a matter of fact,
but it gets you a career at the end of it.
Yeah. All right. So if you are a 𝗟𝗶𝘀𝘀𝘀𝗀, give us a 𝗟𝗶𝘀𝘀𝘀𝘀 in the comment stream. And if you're excited about getting licensed in only 2 weeks, we would love to see some excited emojis in the comment stream too. All right. Thank you, Alyssa, for that question. That was such a good one. Julie asks, what is the application process and what does that look like?
Yep, I could take you through that. So you will get, we've already dropped a link. I think we'll probably drop it again, and I'm sure there'll be a follow-up after this with the link again. Absolutely follow that to the website where you'll see the full job description for this specific opportunity. You'll click apply. We're gonna ask you some questions about yourself and your experiences, backgrounds. Once you submit that application, check your email. Julie made reference earlier, this is what we call an assessment-based requisition. You will get another email that says, thanks so much for your application. Please take this following assessment. Guys, I promise you, it is an 18-minute assessment. We're not asking, this is not a 60-minute assessment. It is 18 minutes max. Most people complete it in about 15. You're going to take that assessment, and then within the next 24 hours, you're going to get one of two email, or you'll get either further communication thanking you for your application. You might unfortunately get an email that says, unfortunately, at this time, we cannot proceed with your application. You will get an email that says that. Within the next few days, the recruiters here on my team, they'll take a look at your background, and they'll reach out either to set up further conversation or to let you know they moved in another direction. But I think that sums most of it up. Any other questions?
No, but Kimber, if I can jump in, some people are asking in the chat if training is paid. Day one. So
Yep.
Whenever we hire you, everything that Seth described is what you do after starting employment with us at Travelers. So the answer is yes, training is paid. So if you're hired on, September 21st, that's the day Seth team starts you on training, and you're on the Travelers payroll getting those benefits and things like that we talked about. So just wanted to offer that clarification.
And that includes the licensing piece I was talking about. So while you're going through that self-study licensing, that's not something you do before you start with us. You start on payroll, and you start in the class on the same day.
I am telling you guys, they are investing in you. And you are brought on as a team member. We're getting invested in. They want that.
Day one. And Kimber, if I could just add regarding the assessment, I don't want anybody to be discouraged if you take an assessment. If you don't pass the first one you take, that is okay. We have about five different assessments across the organization, and they're really meant to find the right opportunity for you, the right fit for you in the organization. So if you take one, unfortunately, you wouldn't be considered for another 6 months, where you can retake that assessment. You can apply again for the opportunity, but that wouldn't preclude you from, let's say you take a sales assessment, it doesn't go the way you planned, but you see a service opportunity, which is another role I know we've Kimber and team has helped us out with. That's a completely different assessment. Or you might see a premium audit position, which are generally remote positions. That is a completely different assessment. I will tell you that one's a little bit longer because it does require some Excel skills in that one. But those are just 3 examples of several different assessments. So I don't want you to be discouraged if the first one doesn't go your way. First, you could take it again in 6 months if that's the role you really want, or take a look at other opportunities. There are other roles that have completely different assessments or no assessments affiliated with them. So just want to throw that out there.
Could you say one more time for everybody listening how long you need to wait if you don't pass an assessment on a specific role?
Sure,
Before
it's
applying
6 months.
again.
Yep, 6-month waiting period. The system will let you apply again, but you will get a notification saying, hey, you haven't met that 6-month threshold just yet.
Yes. And I want to encourage you that when you're prepping to sit down and take that assessment, we've had some candidates reach out and say, I didn't realize what I was opening. I didn't realize, how much attention I would need to pay to this. And be prepared, clear out the office, get the home quiet so you can sit down and focus, because if you don't pass that assessment, your journey is in a holding pattern.
Yep. And that is a separate link, just so everyone is, just so we were, more than clear. You will apply first, and then you will be sent an email with another click through for the assessment. So don't feel like you need to be in the quiet space to apply. If right now this is something you're interested in, you can submit it now. You have about a 30-day period to take that assessment, although I'd encourage you to take it right away because we do get a lot of applicants for some of these roles. But after you apply, after you get that email, plan that quiet space. 30 minutes is what you need to set aside, really, more than anything.
And 2 quick follow-up questions there. Janet said, do you need to wait 6 months if you pass the assessment, but you just weren't selected for the role?
Nope. And actually, in fact, the assessment results will, you won't be required to take a second assessment. If you've passed the assessment and, unfortunately you waited that 30 days and we had all the applicants we needed, so you weren't considered, feel free to apply to another one that comes up, and that assessment will carry forward.
Yes. We have another person who'd like to ask a question, Denise Ortiz. Denise, you are on mute.
Yes. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. My question is, and I did ask before, is well, I am not a current military wife. I'm a widow, and can I apply? I never, everybody that I heard, they're active, and I'm like, I haven't heard of anybody that not being active at this moment. So do I get also? Could I be considered? And also, I have a lot of experience in accounting, but I would like to change from what I'm doing as an accountant. And I have a master's degree in accounting and everything, but I want to change to another type of skills, like being, in the insurance industry. I have applied before, but I have never given the opportunity, and I guess it's because I'm an accountant. So, but that's what I have on my resume,
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. You would still be eligible, and I encourage you to apply to this position, through that link that's going to go out.
Yeah, and
So
tailor that resume.
So tailor the resume towards I do work with a lot of people because I do tax accounting.
If you want some help tailoring your resume, you can email our team and we have an instructional guide that we can send you, because I understand that a lot of the skills that you're going to have from accounting and the tax space are going to be transferable. So we can help you talk through how to communicate those transferable skills on your resume.
Yeah, and I'd encourage you to be deliberate in how you kind of talk about what you're looking for on that resume and what skills, and be deliberate in saying, hey, I'm looking to change. Obviously, your words, use your own words, but I'm looking to change focus. I'm looking to change direction, from this field. I'll tell you, I'm a former accountant and I ended up in HR and talent acquisition, so I get it.
I have folks with biochemistry backgrounds. I have folks with everything you can imagine, right? And so if there's no mold.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Denise,
I really appreciate it.
Thank you for the sacrifice that your family has made. We really much value our Gold Star community members and our Gold Star spouses, so we appreciate you. Our next question comes from Joey. What if you have no experience at all in sales?
Then you'll be just like me when I started in insurance. And we'll train you on everything you need to know. Yeah, not at the end of the day, gift of gab, right? Can you talk? Can you work hard? That's what we're looking for.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Seth. And Diana asked, can you provide more details about what a typical work day looks like? And I think that she means an ensure-a-match in general outside of the 90-day training.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, generally speaking, right, you're sitting down and 5-10 minutes before your shift starts, you're loading up your computer, getting all your applications started so that you're ready to start the day. And then, throughout the day, you're taking around 10 new phone calls, phone calls for new business requests. And then in between those phone calls, you're following up with customers that you've quoted in the past. But the entire day is spent on the computer and on the telephone, outside of, if we're pulling you off for training or having team huddles or things like that. But it really is, it's a computer-based job, and it's sales. It's entirely sales. So there's no customer service aspect to our job outside of, say, the first couple of weeks after you make a sale. If the customer calls you back and maybe you spelled their name wrong or something, we look for our agents to fix that for you, for the customer. But other than that, it really is new business opportunities, quoting and selling insurance all day long.
Thank you, Seth. Kristen, go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, all. So my question is hopefully helpful for some others that are feeling the same way that I am. I haven't worked for 15 years, but I'm extremely active. Everywhere I go, I'm very involved, a lot of volunteering. So how competitive is this application process? Because obviously, yes, we need to make sure when we apply that we're really keeping in mind what we're applying for. But there may be a lot of us that there's really honestly nothing that I'm going to be able to put down there that's going to flag somebody positively to go, oh, this person has this. Most of what I have is going to be more catered towards what I actually did support-wise within our community. So how competitive is that? Do you just kind of push those aside? Are you looking for specific things to pop out on an application? Because some of us may not have those key things that show up that you are looking for.
And I think Felicia just mentioned it in the chat, but absolutely add that volunteer experience to your resume. I mean, they are competitive searches. That being said, if you're applying through the VirtForce link, especially, there's a level of understanding that your experience might be varied. You might be looking for stability. I will tell you, I manage the team of recruiters that are reviewing a lot of this information. They are all super excited that we're on this call right now. They're all aware. They all expect to see an application bump over the next couple days. So we have a number of people kind of at the ready. So it does, applying through this VirtForce link does in and of itself set you apart from other candidates. But realistically, Kristen, it's a very competitive search, and it's a very competitive role because of the stability it offers and the opportunity to write for 50 different carriers. But I can assure you that everything will be reviewed. You won't be overlooked just because of not having insurance experience, not having that sales experience. Seth, anything you want to add?
All I was going to add was, from the second you started talking, the boom in your voice, you get my attention on an interview. So I'd love to see you apply.
Thank you so much.
See, there's energy there. I can hear it.
I am. I'm a big go-getter, but again, I haven't been working. I couldn't do it. So my thing is just very organized. A lot of event planning, a lot of just jumping out and meetings and this and that, and a lot of talking. So, but you can't just list that on it. So that was my concern, was how does it stand out? So I'll figure that out for myself. But thank you.
I'm thinking it would be so fun to break away outside of this, Kristen, and work through how to put some of those things into a resume, record it, and send it out to our other community members who are dealing with the career gaps. And I would love nothing more than to do a success story on you in 6 months of your career gap comeback. If anybody else here is going through the career gap, because I understand it's super common for military spouses to take time off and focus on keeping the family sane and in control, and choosing that over a career, put in the comments if you are dealing with a career gap. And Kristen, shoot us an email if you want some guidance or tips on how to verbalize those things.
Well, and I will say this doesn't have anything to do with this forum exactly right now, but for all of the spouses that are in here, please, if you're the ones like myself, use those resources they offer on base. Sit with somebody and let them turn all this stuff into something flashy and exciting, because those resources are right there for you, which is what I'm going to do, because I'm going to need help figuring out how to word all this. But I think a lot of us in here can do it. So thank you so much for your time, to everybody as well.
Thank you so much. What can be expected in the assessment? And she asks, is this algebra, US history? What's being asked in these assessments so I can know what to prepare for?
No US history, no algebra. For this one specifically, no Excel skill tests. No, it's really situational awareness, asking you about certain situations, how you would react, how you would respond in some cases. I don't want to give the answers away to the test, but it really has more to do with kind of behavior and certain behaviors and the way you respond in certain scenarios more than anything.
Thank you. Thank you, Patrick. All right. And Maha asks, are there specific or certain quality assurance metrics that you should be meeting in this role? For example, a certain amount of calls that you have to obtain over a period of time.
Yeah, so I mean, generally speaking, right, we are rich with data, and we have lots of KPIs that we measure in order to make sure that, in a remote job, right, the only thing we have is our data, or one of the only things we have is our data to make sure the folks are doing what they're supposed to be doing throughout the day. So we certainly have plenty of KPIs that we measure. Specific to the QA, we do quality assurance, which for the group, right, that means we listen to the call and then we score it against a set of QA guidelines that the staff is extremely aware of, that we review with them throughout training and throughout their career with us. We score that call, and so there are certain elements within that QA that we're looking for. There's certain minimum, daily quote goals and monthly sales goals and whatnot that we set for the floor. And so happy to go through all of that through the interview process. But we are certainly using a QA form and QAing our agents.
Thank you. All right, we have made it to the end of our questions list. And I'm so thankful that we're able to show up and bring you conversations that really matter and really make a difference in your life. Now remember, we talked primarily today about 𝗟𝗏𝘀 and the opportunity to work on the sales team at 𝗟𝗏𝘀, which is a remote role. However, Travelers is a nationwide employer. They have an incredible infrastructure across the continental United States. And if you are looking for a role outside of 𝗟𝗏𝘀 or outside of sales, we would love to help you pair with the right one. And you're welcome to email our team to ask about that. And that's it, guys. I just want to thank our Travelers team and our 𝗟𝗏𝘀 team for being here today, and the VirtForce team. So thank you, Patrick, Julie, Jen, Elizabeth. We're so excited that you were all here. And thank you to the VirtForce team, Felicia, Katie, Michelle, and Jenna is not here on with us today, but she was a big part of making this event come to life. And we're here to support you guys. Anybody from Travelers have anything to add before we close out? Nope.
No, thank you so much.
Thanks everybody.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
This was great. Thank you.
Looking forward to hearing from you guys.
Yes.
Take care.